Restaurant March opened in an elegant turn-of-the-century midtown Manhattan townhouse in 1990. The chef and co-owner is Wayne Nish. He came to cooking relatively late, at age 32, after studying journalism and architecture in college. His innovative cooking is demonstrated with carpaccio of lobster and 3 roes.
The first one is a carpaccio of Maine lobster. Now, I've chosen to call it a carpaccio because the lobster meat is going to be pounded. It is eaten raw. When I first came across a dish similar to this in Japan, it was a sashimi, and the lobster meat was cut into half-inch cubes. The difference, one of the differences in the food cultures between European influence or Eurocentric Western culture and Asian one is that textures in Japanese and Chinese food cultures are celebrated that we don't normally expect to see here. And one of them is in certain gelatinous foods and chewy ones like octopus, sea cucumber, raw lobster are very common. What I opted to do in adapting the idea to a dish that would be suitable for March Restaurant would be to pound it. And thereby making it a softer texture and something that would be much more palatable to a Western taste. It's been enormously popular. And in this particular dish, I'm only using the tail. And what I will typically do is hold the lobster body upside down, keeping the feet underneath my hand and the claws to my side, grab the tail with my other hand, and twist. I have then killed the lobster rapidly. I will use the body and the claws for another dish somewhere else in the menu, and I've now got the tail completely separated. I've also reserved all the juices, which I'm going to use later. And peel the bottom of the carapace off completely. Now take a spoon and move it along each section of the tail, freeing the meat completely on the inside.
The tail is cut, then pounded between sheets of plastic wrap.
The only thing I'll remove here is the vein. And then I've got a completely cleaned lobster tail meat. For the purposes of this dish, we'll get 2.5 portions or so out of each lobster tail. And I'll show one. I'll lay another sheet right on top, and then take a meat pounder and completely pound it out to tenderize it, break up the fiber. I'll then take a pastry cutter and lay it over the 2 sheets and use the back of the spoon to spread out the lobster meat into a presentable form. Cut around it to be able to access it easily, and lift off the top sheet of plastic. I'm using a piece of a leaf of shiso, which is a very common Japanese herb that is somewhat related to mint and basil family. It has a similar mentholated type flavor. I'll then turn the plastic film with the lobster meat upside down. The liquid from the body of the lobster that's been reserved will begin to solidify in a refrigerator if it's cold. And then I'll use it to dress the top of the lobster meat. I'm going to garnish it with 3 rows. One is a Japanese preparation called mentaiko. Mentaiko is a spicy cod roe, or it's cod roe that's been taken out of the fish in its sack and cured with salt and chili peppers. It's then cured for a period of time and served as and used as a condiment for a lot of different sushi dishes. I'm going to make a small quenelle or lozenge shape with 2 different spoons. I'm then taking a piece of what the Japanese call uni. Uni is sea urchin roe. And this particular sea urchin roe comes from California. There are 2 types available in the United States, from California and from Maine. So for appearance sake, the California variety is more desirable. And that's what this is. A lot of our fish products here, seafood products from that we use at March, are from Japanese suppliers, primarily because they can, and we have a great source here, but also because their quality is absolutely pristine. Very, very little of the fish and seafood that we use here comes through the Fulton Street Market. I'm preferring instead to deal directly with vendors that ship directly from the sources. Osetra, Russian Osetra caviar finishes the garnishing of the dish.